live from New York. It's the show that, I'll be honest with you, is feeling better about the Nuggets' loss.
Oh, well, that means we didn't talk enough about it.
36 hours, I'm starting to come around and be myself again. It's first things first. Today,
you guys on some group chat or something?
we start with JJ Redick. Pat Riley 2.0.
Wow.
Not necessarily better, just the next generation. According to The Athletic, the Lakers are, quote, infatuated
Of course they are.
with the sharpshooting analyst, podcaster, and Merlot enthusiast. According to league sources, the Lakers are, quote, viewing him as a Pat Riley-like coaching prospect who could help the franchise in the short term and lead it for years. In case you're wondering, Pat Riley has 9 championship rings. Brew, your reaction.
Well, look, there is absolutely no way to know whether or not JJ Redick's going to be a good coach. Or anybody for that matter.
You could watch the 7th grade team he coaches.
They can move the ball.
I mean, you could do that.
There's no way to know. We have seen assistants who have been, heck, Darvin Ham, who I actually think still did a good job, but he was touted as this assistant who's been under Budenholzer, and he's ready now, and he got fired. I remember, I don't know if you guys do, Mark Ivoroni was the new hotness. He was an assistant in Phoenix when I believe when Nash and those guys were there. But everybody thought he was going to be the next great coach. Fizzled out. And then players in JJ's, players that went straight to coaching. Remember Derek Fisher?
Yeah.
Everybody thought it was going to be great. Now, granted, he didn't have a great situation in New York, but still, he failed miserably. How about Steve Nash? Who would not have looked at Steve Nash's career, the way he played, and thought he'll be a good coach, especially when the 2 stars wanted him? So you never thought he'd be?
No, I thought giving someone a head coaching job with no coaching experience.
Well, that's happened though.
I know, and I thought it was. But I guess what I'm saying is with Nash, I was very skeptical from the beginning, but I understand what you're saying. But
right, because Bird, it worked with Larry Bird, it worked with Mark Jackson to a degree, it worked with Steve Kerr. So it has worked. But my point is, you don't know. All right, we don't know if they hire. I think they should hire Sam Cassell of their guys that they're looking at. I can't guarantee he'd be great, but I just think from his experience, and he was a leader as a player. But JJ, the difference is JJ's been able to be on TV, and I will admit, he looks and sounds the part. He sounds very intelligent talking to basketball, and I'm sure he knows the game. I think also he seems to have a strong personality, which you need as a head coach. And I think the Lakers are looking at it when they bring up the whole Pat Riley thing. My guess is that they feel like, well, and he's got cred. Because he's on the podcast with LeBron. So the players will respect him. And so I think, I don't know what in the world could make you think he can be a Pat Riley.
Well, certainly.
I'm just saying,
nothing can make you think he can be a Pat Riley except it's a good headline, and the Lakers operate business to generate headlines. First of all, again, I know you hate when I do this. I apologize. A very brief history lesson, which is Pat Riley was an assistant for a full year, then was an assistant coach. Magic pushes Westfall out. And at the press conference, Jerry Buss tried to make Jerry West the coach. At the press conference said, Jerry West is our new coach. And at the press conference, Jerry West said, no, I'm not. And he was like, yikes, I maybe should have run it by him. He's like, all right, you'll be the offensive assistant.
And Riley was an announcer before he became the head coach.
Well, he was an
assistant coach, before he became
he was an announcer with the team, and then he was an assistant coach for a full year, and then he only became the head coach because of the press conference to announce Jerry West. Jerry West said no, and then he had Jerry West alongside him, for that first year on the bench, okay? And then he became Pat Riley.
But to your point, nobody would ever predict that he would have become.
And it was not their plan, and he had experience. So you're right, Brew. Kerr had no experience, but Kerr did run a team.
He was.
You and I probably have slightly different opinions on how good of a job Mark Jackson did, but I think everyone knows he did at least a good job. And he didn't have experience. That, to me, was an outlier a bit and surprising. Bird is the best, but Bird also did it for a very limited amount of time and then, seemingly, went away forever into the shadows. Point is this. The Lakers want buzz, and they want to be able to have someone to blame if it doesn't work. Rob Pelinka's...
So you think that'll be JJ Redick? He's going to get blamed if it doesn't work.
No, I think LeBron will get blamed if JJ doesn't work. Because they will see, guys, what did you want from us? He's a free agent. We've got to make him happy, even though I am here to tell you, and I do not do much reporting. Brew used to be a reporter. I don't want to say that sounded wrong. Brew used to be a full-time reporter, now occasionally actually reports. I almost never do, but I can report this. LeBron has not said a word about this to the team. LeBron stopped being involved in any coaching stuff with the Lakers after they, in my opinion, screwed him on Ty Lue. They could have had Ty Lue. Ty Lue wanted the job. They gave him an insultingly low offer, and since then, LeBron has stayed out of it.
So how does that work?
How does what work?
The Lakers don't shoot LeBron a text. They're Rich is communicating when he's going to a Cavs game. You're interviewing coaches, and LeBron doesn't
Rich
have a...
tells
him he's out.
LeBron's out. And you guys do what you want to do. And then they kind of try to guess.
But
that's not a good
this guy
idea.
will impress LeBron. I mean, really. I think that's how it's working.
But this is... The Lakers, listen, Rob Pelinka's been very, very, very good at one thing, keeping his job. He's good enough at it that Magic Johnson, the greatest Laker of all time with respect to Kobe, at least it's my opinion, certainly he's on the short list. There's a statue of Magic in front of the arena. Mm-hmm. And before the Lakers had won a title with LeBron, before Pelinka's tenure had any type of success, Magic went on TV and said, this guy backstabs me all the time. And all Pelinka's done is succeed since then. He hired and fired Frank Vogel. He hired and fired Darvin Ham. And now he's going to get to pick a third coach in a 7-year run. And it is, to me, and I agree with you, Brew. I don't know if JJ would be good or bad. There's no way to know because there's no resume of it. Right. There are parts of his basketball IQ I really like. There are parts of his personality that I think could be problematic for an NBA head coach in dealing with the media and dealing with his players. But I will be open-minded about it. I just don't think they are making the decision based on what is the smartest decision. I think
what's the smartest decision, though? I don't see something out there like that's even a few guys. That's the one they should get. Look, I think the smartest would be Sam Cassell. Like I said, there's no guarantee there. It's just like this is a job that is for a first-time head coach to have this job.
But it doesn't have to. They could go with James Borrego, who I thought did a decent job in Charlotte with no talent. And his firing was weird. They fired him after his most successful season. They could go with the more standard route, which is produce some good coaches and some guys that don't work out, which is pluck off the Nuggets staff and Dave Adelman. They could do that, a young guy.
If he could coach like his dad, he could be good.
Sure, and
Micah Nori,
it would be those
good interviews.
That's kind of the standard. You know what I mean? But that doesn't generate buzz.
So that's what I was wondering.
And that doesn't generate an easy scapegoat in LeBron.
Is Sam Cassell, who I like Sam Cassell, I've liked him for a few jobs, but is he not, like, quote-unquote, a sexy enough name for the Lakers' buzz?
I think he's sexy enough. You're right. They like buzz. I mean, he was much better than JJ Redick as a player. I know he's not on television and doing all that. And I don't know if they want to blame LeBron. I mean, they're about to give him a 3-year max contract extension. I mean,
but don't you think an added benefit, because I think we all agree there isn't a no-brainer. The problem with hiring head coaches is great established ones are almost never available unless they have just failed at the most recent moment, which is why they're available. And everyone else is a first-time guy that you are taking a chance on. So this has the added benefit of you're going to be able to put someone else's fingerprints on it if it doesn't work out. I mean, I truly believe that's part of the math here.
That can't. I mean, so you're going into a hire planning for it not to work out? At least that's a large part of your thinking? That's ridiculous. I do think the Lakers aren't well run nowadays. Yeah. They're a mom and pop shop, and they aren't well run. And if that's part of their thinking,
mom and pop
that's ridiculous.
Linda and Kurt Rambis. But if the question is this, Wildes, do people operate as if the number one job they have is to succeed at the job, or the number one job they have is to keep the job? And if people are operating, and a lot of people do across industries, my number one job is to keep the job, then you don't always make optimal decisions.
Okay. Well, I think you really put that on me.
No, that's not you, buddy. I think you try to do a great job every single day.
I got to let the tiger out, man. I got to go for it. I got to go. All right, as for the Lakers roster, well, there's 2 reports that teams are in no rush to help the Lake Show. Another report from Buha in The Athletic said the Cavs' Dan Gilbert, quote, would never trade Donovan Mitchell to the Lakers. Come on. All right, how about bringing Caruso back from the Bulls? Well, Bleacher Report's Eric Pincus says not only are the Bulls just reluctant to trade in general, but Chicago's ownership doesn't want LeBron. And I had to listen to this twice. It was a podcast, so it wasn't like a report, but doesn't want LeBron, quote, infringing on Michael's legacy.
Yeah. Was that like a speculation?
It was kind of just,
or source?
It was a little bit of a chat.
But
if you get Caruso, the difference between Michael and LeBron,
Caruso's about to get him 2 championships.
For whatever it's worth, Eric Pincus is not like a flamethrower. If people aren't familiar with him, he's not a flamethrower or a takey guy.
No, he's kind of, but it was just, it wasn't like, here's my report. It was a podcast.
Sure. He was musing publicly, if you will.
I think that's fair.
Here's the thing. A huge portion of the NBA media business is about protecting Michael Jordan. So it wouldn't shock me if some of the NBA's actual business that's not about Brew.
It wasn't
I'm just saying in general.
Right to his face.
In general, it's not true.
Okay, I disagree.
It's not true.
I disagree. I think that
people would say that half the new media protects LeBron.
Okay. Oh, you know what?
It's like,
just
you know what,
saying,
Brew?
I don't think.
And you want to know something?
I think there are reporters out there calling it like
I think there are some. You're right, and I agree with you that there is some factions of the media that are invested in protecting LeBron, and I would imagine you would agree with me. There are some factions of the media that are invested in protecting Michael Jordan. It's just my opinion. Maybe he hangs out with them in skyboxes or not, and maybe he's all of a sudden a huge part of the nostalgia of how they came up in the media or sports reporting world. Maybe they're all Chicago-based. I don't know. It's just how I've consumed basketball my whole life.
I don't even know what you're talking about now.
Okay, that's what the audience does. It's fine. To the point that I was trying to make. It would be an absurd way for a team to operate. It wouldn't surprise me because I think Dan Gilbert's a bit of a spiteful guy. For the Bulls, I would think the Lakers would be one of the teams I would most want to do business with. Because I don't think they win most trades. I don't think they're, it's people you say like, you don't want to do business with Presti because he always wins the trade. Right. Also, they're an aging team that has an uncertain future. So future Laker picks are more valuable to me than future Spurs picks, for instance. Certainly, you know what I mean? Because LeBron's going to be 40. So it would just be a poor way to run your team if it's true.
No, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's just bad business. I mean, and they're in another conference. All right, I get it if they're in your division and you might not want to strengthen them. But a team in another conference, if they offer you the best deal, if you feel like you got better by trading with the Lakers, do it. I'm not saying you have to want to trade with them, but your standard mode of operation can't be, I will not trade with that team on the whole other side of the country because of LeBron or whatever. So I think that would be bad business. And to Dan Gilbert should be thanking God that LeBron found forgiveness in his heart. Right? That ridiculous letter that Dan Gilbert wrote, calling him a coward, among other things. He should be thankful LeBron forgave him and went back to Cleveland. I know he didn't do it just for Dan Gilbert necessarily, but he still went there in spite of Dan Gilbert and won them their only championship that probably Dan Gilbert will ever see. Yeah. All right, so he should not have any spite about LeBron James at all. Okay. And then Reinsdorf, look. Protecting Jordan, I don't know why he do that.
Okay, well, I have some ideas, but go ahead.
He don't need protected.
Some ideas.
Okay, here's the tale of the tape this postseason. Indiana is better on offense. Defensively, however, Celtics have got it. Josh, are these numbers a little bit cooked because they shot 68% in Game 7? Thumbs up or thumbs down? They're
not cooked because of that.
Well, I'm just saying what this said,
I mean,
that's 1/12 of their postseason thus far.
And wouldn't you admit, Nick, with all due respect, it's a strange graphic.
Why?
Because they're playing different opponents.
Well,
like it should be regular season.
Well, the regular season
got
is
the
a different
because they're facing, you know what I mean? Like you could face
I don't do the
a
graph.
team
Josh,
that plays
Bruce
fast.
taking on everybody today.
You face a team that plays fast and scores a lot. Your defensive rating probably won't be as good.
Well, the pace is that's why you use rating instead of points per game, because it's adjusted for pace. But I do think the quality of the opponent for sure.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't argue the Celtics have been out here playing world beaters this postseason, Brew.
No,
I think the Pacers' path has been harder than the Celtics' path, and so the Celtics leading,
especially because they're not that
right.
good.
Now with that said, you can go. I mean, to me, I've seen, Brew, a lot of people that and I'm not trying to take shots at other media today, but I guess I will. A lot of people that I respect and like trying to convince me the Pacers have a chance in this series. I'm unconvinced. I don't think the Pacers have a chance in this series. And so I'll let you go.
I don't think anybody thinks they can win outside of Indianapolis. I'm saying because I'm not that trustworthy on the Celtics. I'm saying Celtics in 6.
Wow.
Now, what would impress me? You said it yesterday. Jason Tatum plays lights out. He shot 41% from the field in the playoffs. So let's see him shoot 49%, 48%, 50 plus. That will impress me. He's only averaged 21 points a game. He's their best player. He's got to be playing great going into the finals, I would think. Second thing that would impress me, obviously, you want to see Kristaps Porzingis be able to, hopefully after game 2, right? The reports are he'll be out the first 2 games at least. So you want him to be healthy going into the finals. I'm talking about for the sake of NBA fans. Like you want Kristaps Porzingis and the Celtics at full strength. The third thing, Nick, I want to see from the Celtics, no home losses.
Yeah, that's
Can we
weird.
do that?
That's weird.
You played with some injury-depleted teams that aren't that good in the first place, and you've lost to each of them on your home floor.
It dates back to last year they were losing.
They're 15 and 14 at home in the playoffs the last
Don't
few
ask
years.
Joe Mazzulla about it. He gets very mad. He was like, I bet you didn't know we have third best home record this playoffs. That surprised you, doesn't it, buddy? And he got very upset.
It's crazy. Yeah, so protect the home court. Look, you'd love, if you're a Pacers or a Celtics fan, to see them just blast the Pacers, sweep them, blow them out, and then you might think, okay, this is going to be a great finals. Let me say this. I will say this. It really doesn't matter how you look until you get to the finals. Okay. Because the last time Boston won a championship in 2008, the Atlanta Hawks took them 7.
That's right.
Then they went 7 in the second round. Then they went 6 in the conference finals and 6 in the finals. That was Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce, and they won it. So you can look bad throughout the players. It's about advancing. So even if they advance in 7, you can't completely write them off.
I've got a graphic for you that you're going to like. Tatum, the regular season against the Pacers.
I'm sorry. I know I hurt your feelings on that graphic.
It's Josh, man. I'm trying to be Josh.
Josh is scowling.
Josh is fired up.
I see him over there.
He got hooked a few times this segment. Tatum versus Pacers. So he shoots 58% against the Pacers. Let's say not tenacious defense. And 33 points a game, I'm going to round up. So I'd like to see a monstrous performance from Jason Tatum. This is his playoffs. It's not Anthony Edwards' playoffs. It's not Luka's playoffs. It's not Halliburton's playoffs. This should be Tatum's playoffs. He is in the driver's seat here. And the idea that Anthony Edwards and Luka and Kat to some extent and Rudy Gobert's getting some flowers now, Tatum should be like, this is my playoffs. I'm the only guy that's been to the finals. This is my time.
That sounds like a team that you should believe in to win the championship. So now, Kevin Wildes, I ask
this
you,
is a little bonus.
Because you are right now, a champion widow. Your champion's gone and forgotten.
Your team.
I'm almost ready.
Almost ready. What do you have? What is he? Oh, no, I'm not holding that up. You're not going to.
Oh, wow.
At some point this week, I will reveal
hold on.
my
The playoffs
championship
start
pick.
tonight.
Yeah.
Or not the conference finals
You
start tonight.
picked the Nuggets to win the championship, and then the playoffs started, and you picked the Wolves.
Right, but it was before each series.
Yes.
Before a series.
Yes.
You
Before
can't
the
mid-series.
I mean, Nick did mid-series.
Maybe I'm not.
Nick's
Maybe
actually
it's
did
not coming out of
60% into the series.
I'm sorry. Is the Western Conference Series start tonight?
No, okay. All right. Well, so
I'm also willing to be wooed. Minnesota fans.
Can I see? Is there something in there?
Yes.
May I see it?
All 4 teams, to be honest with you. And the answer is no. Well, I don't know. If the mood strikes.
Wait, is there really all 4?
All 4.
Oh, I saw a Celtics logo, but
There's
there is
all
all 4. All 4.
Wait, don't look at that.
Yeah.
Jim? Chris?
Wow.
What are you doing?
There is all. Okay. So at some point this week,
All
you're
right.
going to unveil your pick.
At some point. I want to be wooed by a
This
fan
week
base.
or
All right.
within the next week.
And for the
so
record,
they can tweet you. You want tweets about
I'd like to be wooed.
Brew and I both made our official one post round 1. Brew had the Timberwolves. I had the Mavs.
You know what?
What?
I'm going to give a little tease. We're going to have Patrick Mahomes on the show tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
I might ask Patrick what
He's
he's going
gonna
to
pick
Because
the
last
Mavs.
time
Is
I
he
went with
picking the Mavs?
He's
Patrick.
going to pick the Mavs.
You don't know what he's going to do.
I do.
Well, you ruined the segment.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.